Hey guys, and welcome to my playlist for cleaning up debt, and where I'm working two jobs to try and clean up some of the debt that we've accumulated. If you're new here, let me give you a quick recap on what's happened so far. During the Christmas holiday, I started looking for a new job, got one. We were initially looking for a part-time job, ended up getting a full-time job, a second full-time job, that is. That started first thing January. So the first 3 days of January were 8-hour shifts in training at the new job, which meant taking 3 days of vacation from my current job to do that. That basically means no beach trip this year, which is a sacrifice we're willing to make in light of the fact that when the year's done, we will have cleaned up most, if not all, of our debt. So the first 3 days were physically not difficult. I'm gonna kind of focus on how I'm feeling physically today, in case you're wondering whether or not you can handle two jobs to try and clean up your debt. So physically speaking, the first 3 days were no different than any other days. It was an 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. shift, basically 8 hours a day like I'm doing now. Had plenty of time with the family, plenty of downtime to relax. No big difference there. After training, I shifted into the nesting period, which is it's a phone job, call center. So for those of you who are not familiar with it, the nesting time is when you and all the new hires are taking calls, but you have people around you to answer questions. It's kind of that get your feet wet before throwing you to the wolves kind of period. So during nesting, I would work because I just couldn't. We had 3 weeks of nesting. I couldn't burn that much vacation time. I didn't have that much. So during nesting, I was able to, thanks to my gracious current employer and primary employer, I will say, I'm not giving up that job. This is just temporary. But thanks to their graciousness, I was able to bump back my work an hour, which allowed me to work 5 hours prior to getting to nesting. Then I would take off my primary job, run to the second job, and start an 8-hour shift of nesting, which amounted to, what is that, 13 hours of work a day. That was actually quite manageable for me. I would come home at, I got off at 8:30. I'd be home by 9 or 9:30, depending on whether I got stuck on a call. And I still had time to hang out with the kids were still awake. I could visit with them a little bit. Paula was still awake. I could sit down in the bed and visit with her a bit before going to sleep, and then get up at 5 and do it all over again. Wasn't really that demanding. That was 3 weeks. This past week has been the first real test, physically. I'm now on the floor with the new job. So my day goes like this. I start at 5 a.m. I get up, I get to my primary job by 6. I work there from 6 to 2:30 and get off at 2:30 in time to get down to the new job, the second job, by 3 and log on to the phones and start working. I work there all the way up until, well, the shift ends at 11:30, but it's a call center. Every day this week, I've gotten a call with like 2 minutes left, and inevitably it's been somewhere in the middle of nowhere where I'm spending 15, 20 minutes trying to help somebody. So I've been getting home later than expected, even though my shift ends at 11:30. That said, throughout the week, I was physically doing quite fine. My week is kind of broken up. I worked Monday and Tuesday this week, then had Wednesday off of job number 2, so I only worked job number 1 on Wednesday. Then I had to work Thursday, Friday, and again, on Saturday, I actually had off both jobs, so I had the full day off. Saturday's where I really felt it hitting me. I took a big nap in the middle of the afternoon in preparation to go to a concert my daughter was in, and just woke up pretty groggy. And I'm not sure if it was because I napped too long or too short or what. I've heard people say that if you're going to take a nap, take 45 minutes or else it's not worth it. I've always been a short napper. I've been able to take 10-minute power naps and bounce back, but of course that was when I was younger. So I'm not really sure about that. That has been a challenge. I did go off to the concert, enjoyed the concert immensely, and really didn't feel like I was dragging the whole time. But yeah, when I first got up from that nap, it was hard. I just wanted to curl back up and go back to sleep. So physically, it's been a little bit demanding. Psychologically, I think, is where I'm really struggling this week, because throughout the concert, I was kind of focusing on the concert, enjoying the music, but then I would have these spans of time where I was thinking about job number 2 and kind of dreading it, because frankly, I just the people seem like nice, but it's very a high stress environment, and when they get stressed, it's not a good environment, and not one that I think that I want to be in for a long stretch of time. I just don't think I can handle that kind of high stress environment as a second job for a long time. So Paula and I talked about it over the last couple of days. She was not real keen on the idea of full-time anyhow, and I wasn't either, but I thought, we thought, well, it could get us through the debt situation quicker. I think we've decided to shift jobs. Now, there are a couple of jobs out there that I've kind of heard about that are part-time but offer a little more money. If I can get one of those, then perhaps I can work maybe in the 28-hour range rather than the 40-hour range and still make about as much money as I'm making now, so we wouldn't lose ground, or it wouldn't impede our progress nearly as much as what I would think going to a part-time job would be. So that's kind of where we're at. I'll probably be still working the full-time job. Well, I won't probably. I'll continue working the full-time job until I have a replacement job lined up. That is a given. We'll just continue doing that, and we'll just kind of soldier on. But we're going to kind of make a goal of, before Easter, being in a new job, maybe one that I enjoy more, that I look forward to going to, maybe something where I can learn some stuff that I'm interested in, rather than kind of this agonizing about having to go back to the job. So that's kind of where we're at, and I'll touch base with you next Saturday, let you know how week number 2 went, and how I'm doing physically and emotionally and psychologically then. I also can hopefully give you a little bit of an update on the new second job search, see if I can find something that will be a little bit more beneficial to the family, maybe less of a drag on me. So I will talk to you next week.